recording. It is a wonderful world that we are in this evening. It's a jolly holiday.
What are you
Jason.
doing?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Weird.
I just ate like a bunch of these. Emily stopped at Aldi today on the way home just because she needed to pick up some stuff. I think she was just more or less curious as to what's the deal with Aldi because we hadn't been in one. And it's such a European brand. So she went in there and she got some stuff and she was like, well, this is kind of like the grocery store version of a dollar store. And ended up like there's like random junk in weird places. And she got these.
Wait. What does that mean? You got to go back.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What does it mean that it's
there's like weird random stuff stuck. Like it's a lot of, and this is her description. I was not there, so this is secondhand. But it's apparently there's like
no pun intended.
But it's like lawn furniture will be like right next to the generic cereals, and like it's just kind of strange. And there were some sort of things you see in Europe that you don't see here, like the cashiers are seated. Like that's kind of when you first hear that, you're like, okay, so what? But when you see it, it is weird. You're like, something's wrong here. And that's like, Emily felt like that may even be like a regulation in the UK that they, if you can't make them stand up or whatever. And then it seems like
don't they do that at Publix? Doesn't Publix have a? Don't they?
Not that I've seen.
I feel like somewhere I've been they sit.
And I don't think it's Whole Foods.
No, definitely not Whole Foods.
Well, I don't know, but yeah, and so she got since she was over there anyway, she stopped in and got some stuff, and I got these. She brought me these chocolate. Okay, they're not chocolate chip cookies; they're chocolatey chip cookies. Okay, so they're being very careful.
I see what they did there. Yeah. But wait, chocolate chip cookies isn't trademarked. I mean, chocolate chip cookies.
No, but I think chocolate has maybe a legal definition that these chips don't adhere to.
These are,
but
okay.
And they're like made for dunking, so they're like these elongated, thin cookies, so that they go into whatever you're dunking them into, and I'm not entirely sure they didn't affect me in some way because I had like 3 of them, but they were very oddly tasting. Not bad. Just, you know how butter cookies taste? It was like the cookie part was a butter cookie. And then of course it was filled with chocolatey chips. And actually looking in the ingredients section, I was like, is this just them trying to be like thing? No, the ingredients listed them as chocolatey chips. And so I have no idea what I have just ingested, and I don't know what I'm in for
so
the night.
It doesn't say like chocolatey chips and then parentheses what the ingredients are. It just says chocolatey chips.
Well, it did have parentheses and what the ingredients are, and there was a lot of various oils mentioned. You know what wasn't mentioned?
Oh, okay.
Chocolate was not mentioned there. Now, it did say there was cocoa powder, but it was a different ingredient. It was separated from the chocolatey chips by a comma. So the cocoa powder is not in the chocolatey chips, apparently.
That's weird. Is it like carob or something? Or is it?
I have no idea. Nothing.
Starbucks uses the term chocolatey chips?
Oh, do they really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole article in Fortune about it. About that it was a Valentine's drink, and the term chocolatey chips is used as opposed to just chocolate chips, and it's because the Food and Drug Administration has certain standards, go figure, for what can actually be labeled as chocolate, and chocolatey chips ingredients doesn't fit the bill, apparently. FDA requires that ingredients contain a minimum of 15% chocolate liqueur by weight. I think I actually
I would
15%
I would qualify
chocolate liqueur. Chocolate. Yeah. I mean, given all the chocolate I've eaten in my life, I'm not eating real chocolate right now, but I think I I've eaten a sufficient amount of chocolate in my life I'm sure I have chocolate in my cells.
And considering how smooth and dark I am, I have always suspected that I was chocolate.
You know, I don't say it enough, but Marcus, you are a smooth and dark wonder.
Chocolate, not chocolate. So I don't know if they're going to make me.
I mean,
so far I'm okay. Like I'm not having like a bizarre headache or anything like that. But I don't know if I'm, I'll go weird or
MSG content may be high.
It could be. That may be part of why it's chocolate.
This has a strange umami flavor to it. You do look like you have a chocolate bar behind your head.
Oh yeah,
so there's that.
That's actually it. Yeah. Well, it's chocolatey. I mean, it's
chocolatey
wood.
A chocolatey bar. Yes.
As these chips probably are mainly wood. They were crunchy.
It's almost like the chocolate bar I didn't want to eat as a child. We talked about that, right? The Last Supper.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. So this would be the wood equivalent of the chocolate bar.
Yes, the wooden Last Supper.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Chocolate bars. So how are you today?
Oh, I'm good. It's still weird for us to be recording on a different day.
Yeah.
My whole week's off.
You decided to turn Monday nights into your fame time.
I did.
So.
Though, that's a good decision. Because,
is it working out? That's good.
Well, it's not sunny and hot.
I
mean, it's a little hot. It's still hot.
Yeah. Florida.
Let's back up. When the sun goes down, people always think, the sun's going down, or it's rain. We've talked about this before. It rains and it's going to cool things off. No, it doesn't, people. No, it doesn't. Yeah. It makes it more humid. You know what more humid feels like? Hotter.
Yeah, like the thermometer might say that it's a little cooler, but your skin is going, oh my God,
that's why they call it relative humidity.
Right.
Heat index. So when the sun sets in Florida, which it's setting around the time that I'm doing that show, it's like 7:30-ish, right? 8 o'clock. Yeah. By the time you get to 8 o'clock, it's the sun's set, right? It's here. 7:00. Oh.
Yeah,
it's already earlier. Set today. Yeah. So as soon as that happens, the humidity just gets cranked up. Cranked right up. And then you feel wet in places where you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I had a little rant on Monday. I don't know if you were with us or not, but when I was doing the Epcot walk around thing.
Oh, yeah.
I almost had a Jesus in the temple moment, Marcus. Like I almost lost my stuff. I cannot stand the concerts. Here's the deal. And I know people are going to,
the ones at American Adventure?
Some people love the festival concerts. The festival concerts.
Yeah, eat to the beat.
Where they have people. Yeah, that baloney, right? So, no, the good kind of baloney, the bad kind of baloney. Here's the thing.
Got the red ring that you have to pull off of it.
The sun sets at 7:30-ish, 7:45. Okay. Which means that you don't really get to experience World Showcase Promenade in the evening and after sunset until like 7:45. I think it's the most magical time to actually visit, to walk around the promenade. So it's wonderful. And the music,
especially when the illuminations torches are on.
Oh yes,
that's so
but
much.
You're walking between world, like each nation's showcase. Like the music changes. There's that transition point. That it's a very immersive experience.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And there are many people, who will only visit Walt Disney World like with big chunks of years between their visits, right?
Right, yeah.
And sometimes this is like the one day they're doing Epcot. Especially now. Well, Epcot's like under construction everywhere. Epcot is like the theme park equivalent of the Contemporary, right now as a resort because that beast is like people shouldn't even be allowed in there. That's what I decided today. Like, you shouldn't even.
Certainly not
why?
in Future World.
What are you doing? No, I mean contemporary. Like contemporary should just be closed. It's just silly.
I haven't been in there since all the crazy.
Close everything down, get it done, reopen it fast. Like just get it done. Anyway, yeah.
If only there were an extended period of time that they could have shut the park down and gotten all that stuff done then.
I know, right, right. And I get the whole COVID thing, and they want, but you know as well as I do. Because I see the guys. They're not wearing masks. They don't really care. No. They would have worked. Anyway.
I think they were working. I don't think that construction shut down during that.
No. So inside, at Disney, only certain construction projects continued. Like road construction continued. But any like building, especially internal stuff, that all got shut down. Completely shut down. So anyway.
They could have done the Future World crap.
Dude, I mean, don't even. Anyway, so I'm walking around World Showcase, and we come up. I'm walking into Germany, and I can hear Aha. I can hear Take On Me playing in the distance. Now, mind you, not only am I trying to experience the World Showcase in all its glory, right? I'm also broadcasting this.
Yeah.
In 3D binaural audio. Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm getting closer to it, and now it's not Aha anymore. Now, it's like some Run DMC mix thing going on. Dude, go back to the replay.
So it's like a cover band?
Yeah, they're local cover bands because they're not having the big acts come in because of COVID.
But they have the local cover bands coming in during COVID.
Because,
well, here's hoping they get wiped out.
So anyway, I'm in Japan. So I go in Japan. You can't hear any of the Japanese ambient music at all. Man. I'm sitting in the garden, Kitsura Grill, and then I begin my rant and I say, Mr. Disney. And I explain, there's people who travel here. This is their one day in Epcot. They get to experience, because the park closes at 9 or 10 p.m., they get to experience this after dark for an hour and as they're walking around World Showcase, it's ruined. I could hear them in France, Marcus.
Jeez.
The whole kit, between Germany and France, all you could hear was the concert. And it's just too loud. I mean, there's a way to do it without it being that crazy loud. And you know what? Maybe you don't have to do it. And I know there's people who love the concerts. I love the concerts, but is it worth ruining the experience for the non-locals? Like, I mean, for the folks who are traveling in from all over the place who really don't care about this cover band.
And see, that's the sticking point. I'm kind of caught up on the most is that, okay, if it really was 38 Special or Air Supply or whatever, then that would be one thing. But if it's some crappy cover band that has a set that contains both Take On Me and a Run DMC song, then can we not? I'd rather let's go with nothing than that. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm sure they practice hard, and I'm sure they're good people. And
I'm sure they sound nice in a club.
Many venues in this town. The Lord himself knows that there are plenty of places weird cover bands can play in this town. It doesn't have to be World Showcase. And to your point, it does just shatter and destroy an ambiance and an atmosphere that I have to think that many an Imagineer worked very hard to create.
That's exactly what I did. You have to go back and you won't believe it. It's literally what I said. So much work was put into this by Imagineers to create this experience that has just been flushed down the toilet. And of course, if you look across the lagoon,
our butts with this.
If you look across the lagoon, you get the visual equivalent of the rock concert by seeing giant pieces of black metal. Yeah, it is just crazy. Anyway, no one wants to hear this. I mean.
I don't know. Every time I talk to somebody that listens to our show, they really like it when you rant.
I screwed up on Monday. I screwed our schedule up, and I do the Monday night thing, which is nice because it's cooler and my phone, I don't have to worry about my phone overheating. Really, is what the main
that's a good
one of the main thrusts of this is. But also, I get to see the Disney spaces in a different light, literally. Yeah. And that's kind of nice. It's
Disney
kind of nice
very
just
much
walking around and
a completely different
taking
place
it in. Yeah. The only thing I really want to be able to share Pandora at night in Animal Kingdom. But Animal Kingdom, according to the schedule, closes at 7 p.m. every night. Yeah. For ever. It's like, I mean, I know they're obviously going to change it at some point as we get closer to the 50th anniversary. But it closes at 7 o'clock. It's crazy. Half of what's awesome about Pandora is the nighttime.
Yeah. Yeah. And they had a whole thing at Animal Kingdom at night for a while. Like, didn't they just start a bunch of junk?
Uh-huh.
And now not so much.
I think they'll extend it later. I don't know. And and yes, it does get dark at 5 p.m. come December, I guess, but
yeah, but I mean, who wants to be there during December? It's packed as hell.
Yeah. So there's that. And what else? And Alex sent me this text message. I guess I have to read it. I'm just gonna have to read it. You'll have to bleep me if you think it's necessary to bleep me. But he says I drove. Now remember, Alex just got his license 2 weeks ago. Now, right? Okay. He says I drove Patrick's car today for the first time, and goddamn, does your car have horrible blind spots? He says it's like night and day. His car has almost no blind spots. Now
mind you, an F-16 here. This is awesome.
His car is his friend Patrick. I think also has a Honda, and that's the thing I noticed when I bought this particular Honda Accord in 2018, brand new, was that it has some terrible blind spots. But I think they make up for it with the cameras and sensors and everything, right? Yeah. But it does
which
make
he wasn't able to use for his truck.
No. So it's amazing that, I mean, really, honestly, it's amazing that he passed that thing. Without, because it's a boat, man. It's not, it doesn't look like it from the outside, but you get inside, you're like, oh my goodness, this is like when I drove my uncle's Cadillac or something. This is ginormous.
You have to have spotters and stuff, like you're going through the Panama Canal. So that happened. Don't forget to Patrick me there. Well,
Patrick me for the Patrick. Yeah. That's funny.
Your car has a lot of blind spots. That's my Patrick word. I don't know.
And while we're at it, and this is just an aside kind of pin element, but since we were talking about the show and everything, I literally got wet on the monorail today.
Yeah.
Literally got wet on the monorail. And it's not because, it's not because somebody, their umbrella was sitting on the seat or something. I mean, my butt was wet.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out. I thought at first it was somebody must have. Well, I should have put two and two together when I was entering the monorail and there was a cast member in there wiping some stuff down. And I don't know. Actually, I think I was sitting first and he came in and started wiping stuff down. So I'm not sure what that was about. Anyway, turns out I slide across the bench when the bench is empty so I can get to the other side. Mm-hmm. And I slide through water. It's like a little pool of water on the seat. I'm like, what?
The roof leaking?
Happened? And I don't know what's happening. And I you'll hear, if you listen to the replay, there's this little kid who's saying, the monorail's leaking, Dad. The monorail's leaking. Why is the monorail leaking, Dad? The monorail's leaking. He keeps saying it again and again, something like the monorail's leaking. And I'm thinking, and I'm not turning my head because I'm doing the binaural audio thing again. And so I need that to track with what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. So I can't turn around and look because that'll screw up the sound.
Uh-huh.
Not that anybody's paying that much of attention, but
so you got a thing you
so
wear on your head for that, or?
Yeah, it's like a big cone. No.
It would not surprise me, buddy.
No, it's like
consume mass quantities of chocolatey chips.
They look like headphones with their microphones that go in your ears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they those weird microphones that look like ears?
No, but those would be cool, actually.
Those are very cool.
They use those for,
wow, they're weird.
They use those for like ASMR kind of thing. So, it's ASMR, right? AMS? ASMR. Yeah. Anyway.
ASMR.
So I don't ever really got to see where it was leaking.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even raining that hard outside. Like, I don't know what's going on. And like, I was just thinking to myself, man, like, what is happening? We've got this cover band Run DMC thing playing in Epcot while I'm trying to relax and get my Zen on in Japan. We've got like the Contemporary is essentially a construction. The entire thing is a construction site, inside, outside, underneath, over top, like everywhere is under construction, right?
Yeah.
The monorails are leaking.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the fireworks thing? The fireworks, like something there's something that happened and something caught fire. So there's some video online about it, of it. Like, and the other night when they were doing some testing or something, like, something caught fire and you can see black smoke rising from back where they like launched the fireworks and stuff.
Man.
Like they were, and I'm like, what? And Animal Kingdom's closing at 7. We're not even running Pandora at night. But what is going on? I mean, I don't understand. It's because when the Yeti when the Yeti broke originally, when the Yeti stopped working at Everest, right? If someone had come to you then and said, "This is a sign of things to come," and then they started rattling off the things. You would be like, no, that will never, they're never going to put metal, ginormous Stargate-like apparatus in the middle of, look, Stargate actually was a smaller operation than what's happening in World Showcase Lagoon.
Yeah, an actual Stargate is about a fourth the size of that thing. That's one of those big old mega gates the Ori's set up to bring ships in.
I was on the Nemo attraction. The audio just stopped halfway through the attraction.
Whoa.
And we kept going. It wasn't like the ride stopped and then they just paused everything. No, the audio just stopped.
Man, I told him Chapek was a bad choice.
And I mean, I'm like, what is
I tried to tell him.
They're
like, what do you know?
And I'm not
you
one of these people.
You sent me the survey. Do you want my opinion or not?
I'm not. No one sends me a survey anymore, and I'm not one of those people who. I'm not one of those people who says, they shouldn't be like the Genie Bus thing is coming, and they shouldn't be charging for the fast. I actually am kind of excited about paying for upgrades. For me, it's always been a Southwest experience, like the Fast Pass thing and everything has actually been in it. Like the fact that you can buy your way to a better experience is something I can actually embrace. I don't think it's certainly not fair, and it's definitely not equal.
And it's more of a universal thing. It doesn't feel Disney for them to do that because you're already paying the premium, right? And they're not knocking anything off of that in order to do this.
Killing Magical Express. And then saying one of the big things you get like now, because you're at a higher level of annual pass, you get more reservation days available.
Yeah.
As if this is a great thing. But that wasn't ever a thing before. You create it, like, you know what they call this? You know what they call this?
What do they call
the mafia? Like, you don't when you say when you have to pay protection money,
right?
When you have to pay the bully so he doesn't take your lunch, that's not a benefit. It's not. You're not. He actually could just not take your lunch.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. That's the service.
I don't understand. Like, okay, so wait. So, okay, we have to get reservations. And we can only get 3 at a time. And that kind of makes things difficult if you're trying to plan ahead, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that sucks. Oh, okay. So I can just pay extra and you'll give me like 4 or 5 days. Mm-hmm. Like 2 more days.
Instead of 3.
Great. Also, no trams from the parking. Not that I ever liked using a tram. I didn't. Apparently, I liked having the option anymore? Though. There's no trams. I'm not saying they're canceling the trams. I'm saying the trams never came back. The trams are there. They're just parked off in the distance mocking us.
Right, true.
It's like when they had the...
what's the point of that?
Do you remember the minis? Remember those?
Oh, like the minivan, like the sort of Uber type thing? Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? For the longest time, like after COVID, it went away. And after COVID, they had like the fleet parked on the Epcot lot. They're just like sitting there, just like, but you had hope. You're like with the trams, you're like, oh, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. Yeah. And I don't think it's come back. I haven't seen any.
No, it's not back yet. Emily actually knows somebody who drove a minivan. And they're like...
You know the best thing about the minivans?
What's that?
Well, other than that they could take you places that like a normal service wouldn't take you. They had these little flash drives in the car. And the flash drives had every possible song that you could find in Walt Disney World, park, resort, holiday, not holiday, everything. Everything. You could get in there and say, I want to hear the music for French Quarter at Christmas. They would have it. Wow. They could cue it up. Yes.
So how much is one of these flash drives?
Dude, I tried so many times. Like, hey, how about
you look over there?
Way? I'm gonna like.
Oh look, I got the same model of flash drive right here, and you could be like, I don't know what happened to my flash drive. It's now erased.
No, they're well trained because they could not be bribed. They could not be bribed.
Dude,
I just want to even borrow it. Look, how about you just take me to my house?
Yeah,
and stay outside, keep the meter running.
Yeah, I'll pay for the whole ride.
And then I'll go in
and I will
download it. No,
man, that would be amazing.
I don't want to be one of those negative Nancys about. And no offense to Nancy.
Yeah, she gets a bad rap. It's hard to not like, if any one of these things happened in a vacuum, then it'd be like, whatever. But they're all having. I tell you, talking about the differences that they're doing. The one that really rubs me the wrong way is the fact that you don't get magic hours anymore if you stay at a value resort.
Yeah,
that one is rough.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not rich enough to play with us anymore. I mean, that's messed up. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
It's just time in the park. What are you? What's the problem? I mean, geez.
That's the morning magic hours, right?
You got to tell the because I think it's
what's
evening
the deal
as
with
well.
The evening? I don't even. Are they even going to do? You think we're actually going to see evening extra magic hours?
No, I have no idea.
I assume we will. But
I guess we're not right now.
It's not going to be long. And it's not going to be like it used to be. I mean, it used to be like crazy long.
Yeah, you used to get, you could get in at like 6 a.m. and the place didn't open till 9 or something.
No, for the morning. I never did the morning hour. I cannot get up early. You know me. I got to sleep. Yeah. But evening, I was all about the evening.
In the Magic Kingdom at like 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
absolutely
open,
Yeah, not illegally. Yeah, you were actually there. Right. You could buy something to eat too.
Yeah. That's bothersome. I don't even know if that's a new thing, but I hate it when all the places shut down for food, like a couple of hours before the place shuts down.
That has happened. Alex and I don't remember whether this was Disney World or Disneyland, but it was one of those. It was here. It was actually here because it was after we moved here, and there was like a late night event thing, and we were able to be there, and you couldn't get food. Like we could not. All Alex wanted was just like a soft pretzel. You could not find
Like the
anything.
stands? You don't have the stands open? Come on. I understand a restaurant maybe, but
they had one restaurant open. It was not the Terrace, but the what's the other one in Tomorrowland? That one. Yeah. Yeah. The one across from Autotopia. It's not called Autotopia anymore.
Cosmic Race.
Good night, folks. Yeah.
The Finding Nemo ride, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, wait, we're in Disneyland.
Some things I like. Like I said, I like the idea that I can pay extra to to ensure that I can actually enjoy an attraction. Yeah. It sucks that I have to, but the fact is that there are some attractions like Slinky Dog. This is the first year I've ever ridden Slinky Dog, and that's because the queues are finally so short that I can deal with it. I just wasn't willing to wait for 2 hours or more to ride a roller coaster that lasts. There's no great mystery to it. You see it.
Yeah, and it's not like
it lasts like a minute. Mm-hmm. I'm not.
And while it's fun and neat, it's not, it's 2 not hours a terribly elaborate
in the sun. It's not like an inside queue
roller coaster. Yeah, it's an outdoor thing.
But if you had said to me, Jason, you can spend $15 and bypass the queue. Mm-hmm. I would know. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I will do that.
I get the sort of backlash.
I'll do it once.
Genie Plus or whatever, but I'm kind of looking forward to it because I did think Max Pass worked really well when I
did too
to Disneyland,
yeah.
And another thing is the whole like special rides that aren't part of that. I like that you can do the special rides that aren't part of the $15 without doing the $15. I think that's a good policy.
Well, okay. Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
Let's talk about Rise of the Resistance.
Yes.
Okay, because that would be a special ride.
That is definitely going to be on this list.
Yes. Yeah. It is not going to be it's not going to be on the Genie Plus thing. It's not going to be something that you can, right? So will it be, and it probably will be one of those, what do they call it? The lightning lane thing, like where you pay a lot more money.
The Fast Pass in general is now Lightning Lane.
Yeah, but there's the Lightning Lane Plus kind of thing.
Yeah. This is outside of the $15.
Right, where you can buy your way into that particular thing, right? Mm-hmm. I could be wrong. I don't know whether that's going to be on the list or not. I'm going to look it up.
Surely it's going to.
Well, here's the thing. If that happens, so people can pay to guarantee that they will be able to get on Rise, right? For example, doesn't that then de facto reduce the availability for the non-paying people?
It's hard to say. It depends. It
has to.
If we are, because if we,
it's a finite amount to begin with.
Assume that they're running at absolute full capacity right now, which maybe they are, maybe they are not. But I mean, they could have enough room in their capacity to add the lightning people without necessarily taking out. I mean, I don't know. Mathematically speaking, without weird background knowledge, it would seem that will make fewer spaces in line for the virtual queue people. But I don't know. It's
right. I mean, so Josh D'Amaro, who's president of Parks, and he's like all Parks, Resorts, guest experience, consumer, blah, 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 whatever. He said there are some attractions that use the Lightning Lane queue, which you can purchase individually, which is the ultimate in flexibility. Think about Rise of the Resistance. It's a highly demanded attraction. Guests show up in the morning and they try to get into the virtual queue. Anyway, hold on. So maybe, there'll be another option for you to purchase Rise of the Resistance. Okay, but it's still a little. He said purchase Rise of the Resistance and reference purchase individually. So we kind of can deduce that Disney's planning to include Rise of the Resistance in the individual
I think that's
selection thing, right? Like, I just, so there's people like me who, like, I'm just not that good at scoring the 7 a.m. thing. And for the, again, when you have to do the blitzkrieg, like furious, try to get in the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance at 7 a.m. thing. Mm-hmm. And some people have tricks to do it and blah, blah, blah. And I get it sometimes and I don't get it sometimes. Well, what sucks is the person who comes here like
once,
right.
They have one shot at this. And
their only other alternative now is to pay a lot of money to get it. Right. That's the problem. Like, I wasn't willing to wait in a 2-hour line for Slinky Dog, but a lot of people were, and they got to enjoy it after waiting for several hours, right? Yeah. Same with Flight of Passage. I wasn't ever willing to wait 6 hours in line, right? Some people were, and they loved it still, right? Some people would be willing to wait 6 hours in line for Rise of the Resistance if they meant that they got to ride it.
But I would assume that, considering that the virtual queue goes until the place closes, that
Rise isn't on the virtual queue. I mean, Rise is. Oh, you're talking about the
actual virtual queue thing.
Their virtual. No. You can get shut out from that.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like, as soon as it fills up, then.
No, even the people. So what happens is,
like, you don't even guarantee.
They allocate a certain amount. They allocate a certain amount at 7 a.m. It's not all of them though.
No, they do another one at 1 or something.
Right. But that 1 o'clock one is basically based on their best guess of how many more people they can get through this before the park closes, right? So, but it says it in the print there. It'll say, like, it's not like, sometimes they'll throw you into what they call like a wait. Yeah, I forget what the term is, but it basically makes it clear. This is even though we're signing you to a boarding group, this does not mean you're going to be able to ride today.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Here's like a wait list kind of thing. So if everything goes well, operates smoothly, nothing shuts down, and we can get to your number, then great, we'll call you. Right. If, on the other hand, we don't, well, you're out of luck. Mm-hmm. And anyway, I mean,
like, I don't know. I'd like to know, like, on a completely problem-free, breakdown-free, 101-free day, what is the number of people that Rise of the Resistance can run through itself from open to close? Because that number of people is the number of people who are in that virtual queue at least. And you can't get in there twice.
Right.
It's like you can't get out and get back in line. So it is full of unique visitors.
So we want to know, like, what's the throughput? Like,
like, what is the maximum number of people that Rise of the Resistance can entertain on a I don't know, an average day, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good question. I bet somebody has answered it.
Surely.
Okay, here we go. Fans and experts, whoever they are, estimate that this is based on the LA Times, so it is a legit, like, news source. Whether they have legit data is a different question. Yeah. Fans and experts estimate that Disneyland's popular Rise of the Resistance attraction can serve about 1,100 to 1,500 visitors per hour.
Per hour.
With a maximum of perhaps 1,900. Yes.
So let's take the middle one, though, like 1,500 per hour. When is Studios opens at what, 9? And they close probably at 10 or 11?
No, earlier than that.
Earlier than that? 8?
Like 9.
Oh, 9. Okay, so let's say they go 9 to 9, 12 hours. Mm-hmm. 1,500 people an hour. Jeez. What's that? 18,000 people?
300 times 12. I think your math's good. Yeah, 18,000. Good job.
I mean, what's Wow.
I don't think it actually operates because that was based on an article from February 2020.
February 2020. So that's full capacity. So it's not serving that many now because it's COVID
And I don't
stuff.
think it ever has because okay. So here's from Blog Mickey. This is June of 21. So this year, Rise of the Resistance calls record 330 boarding groups at Disneyland. So that
you're in a boarding group. What does it say?
Well, dude, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And that could be a floating number. I mean, it may not be the same number of people.
It's I've
hit the button and I've nailed it like right at the time, right? Not
I know
6:01, not at 6 o'clock and 2 seconds, and I'm in boarding group 136 or whatever it is, and I'm in boarding group 137 somehow.
Well, I've done it. I've done it that same, and I've not gotten it. So I mean,
man, I can't imagine
you have articles like there's an article here
what the computer
from
is
Coaster,
doing to pull
Coaster magazine, how to cope with not getting a Rise of the Resistance boarding group. Like seriously.
Yeah, they do serve alcohol there, so
They try to give my kid a Star Wars thing.
For those who are able and willing, being able to buy your way onto the attractions will be a great and glorious thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
For those who I think probably rightfully think it's not a great
it's going to be down
or aren't able to. It's hard.
Well, it's going to be down to how much they charge for that, right? I mean, if it's $5 or whatever, then dude, that's like you ate an extra meal.
Oh, it's going to be way more than that. Have you seen the Disneyland Paris numbers?
No, I have no idea what they're doing over there. Because I mean, if it's $15 to get the Max Pass,
oh my friend,
for a single ride, a single time, I mean, it could be $20, I guess, but
okay,
that's going to be pretty jacked up if that's the case.
Let's look at some pricing. Okay, how about this?
So they have a thing like this out there?
Oh yeah.
I have no idea.
Yes. I'm trying to find a non-Disney. I'm trying to find a non-Disney source. Here's one. So, and these are euros. Hold on, let's see. Okay, so 8 pounds is about $9, or 8 euros rather, is about $9. Okay, here we go. So some of these cost $18.
$18 to ride
for
it
Premier Access. Here we go. Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain is €9. So is that going to be
too bad?
like
But I guess that's Space Mountain. That's not a
€8 for Star Tours, €15 for Peter Pan's Flight.
man, and they'll get it too. I don't know what is up with Peter Pan's Flight, but it always has a ride wait time of like 6 hours or something. It's crazy the people that thing draws. I like it.
I'm just saying, if Peter Pan's Flight is €15, which and I don't know is that like $20 or so, maybe a little less than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably like $18.
Alexa, how much is €15 in US dollars?
€15 is about $17.76.
The quite delightful total of $17.76.
Oh, yeah. There's no no irony there, huh? Hey, Europeans. Hey, our British friends.
Freedom.
You know what? Yeah,
that's how much it is.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Yeah, I don't know. I think if Peter Pan's Flight is $18, I cannot
like
fathom how much.
I
Rise
hope
of the
not.
Resistance
I really hope not, because. But I mean, it's it's going to be about supply and demand. But it's just squishy and gross. This aspect of things is really not making me happy. I mean, I guess I get it, but it just feels universally.
Yeah, because I guess it was. I mean, they didn't want to do the whole just raise the entrance fees so much that you shut out people completely.
Yeah.
They'd rather just shut people out by for certain attractions, I guess.
And people bring up the whole
I don't
ticket
know.
book thing,
It's
like what they used to do with the ticket books. And yeah, I get that, but admissions was like $1.50 back then.
Well,
And you
right.
bought
No, that's the thing.
tickets.
I would actually be all in favor if they want to start charging like per attraction or something.
Yeah,
I would
and-
love that if it meant dropping the entrance fee.
And it was mentioned
considerably.
that if you went back then and you paid your money and you rode all of the rides, that the total amount of money is around what it is now to get into the park. But that's for if you go and ride every single
Everything.
ride. Who does that, right?
Yeah.
Some people like to just go in and hang out and eat the thing and ride TTA like 6 times and then go home. But you're now paying the same amount of money somebody would have paid to ride every single ride in the joint.
Yeah.
And that's like now. They're like if you rode every single ride now, like sort of extrapolating as to what would be an E ticket, D ticket, C ticket, etc. That's the amount of money you pay is that same amount. But again, that necessitates that you ride every single ride, and that would have required up until recently you riding Stitch, and I'm not going to ride that.
Oh, you didn't like Stitch? You didn't like the little belch in the ear thing?
Could not stand that ride.
No, you
I wasn't a big fan of Alien Encounter, to be honest with you.
Oh,
that felt too universally to me. That was like a mean-spirited ride that I felt didn't friggin' belong in Disney. I don't know. It just felt wrong for Disney. I loved Mission to Mars.
You didn't like feeling like the like breath of the alien on your neck?
No, I found it
didn't like
just annoying and just
You're
like,
gonna be
this
eaten?
is just... We're trying too hard to be Universal. I definitely think it was a response to Universal.
Maybe.
It was like,
Could've
let's
been.
have some more of those kind of like scary rides and stuff. And it's like, wow, this is gross. I don't like this.
Well, this turned into an interesting
Yeah, we almost have the makings of
Holy
an actual Disney podcast here.
cow. That was and just ranty, very both of us very
Disney
ranty.
rants.
Wow. Apologies, because I do love Disney, and
And
I'm going to
another
keep
thing.
going. And I mean, that's the thing. The reason we're critical is because we actually do care so much.
Exactly. I love this place. I've been coming here since '83. This is a second home, and it's bothersome when.
I mean, you and I both moved here because of Disney.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, we're a little interested in it. No.
They're doing Genie Plus. Well, never mind. I'm moving to Maryland. It's like,
No, don't do that. Yeah. So we're not going anywhere. We're still going to be Disney fans. I'm
going to get the friggin' pass. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I may get I will tell you this. I'll get the second, not the super one. I'll get the one just below it, because I noticed that the only blackout dates on that are dates I don't really want to go to the parks anyway. It's Thanksgiving
what day?
weekend.
I didn't see the blackouts yet. How did you see blackouts? Did they?
Because I got the.
I didn't think they had them.
I got the. There's an email that they sent out that tells.
Of course, you got the email.
Don't.
Don't even get me started. You seriously got an email?
Yeah.
I get nothing. I couldn't even get a Remy. Remember, like I'm not getting anything, Marcus.
Oh man.
In fact,
they're
I'm
online
going to tell
somewhere.
them this. I'm going to tell them this. I'm going to say, you know what? Wipe my account. Pretend I never existed, because it doesn't seem to help me anyway. And I'm starting fresh, but I would need the damn emails.
I didn't know we touched on a little side nerve here.
Well, it's crazy. I don't get the emails. I don't get any of these things.
But
You know who gets these things? Michelle gets these things.
Oh, well, maybe she's getting yours. But yeah, the blackout dates for the next, like there's the big one that has none. And then the one step below has the Thursday through Saturday, not Sunday, but Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend. And then the week leading up to Christmas and the week between Christmas and New Year's. And those times, it's like Mad Max in the parks. It's like, that's the only time between Christmas and New Year's is the only time I've actually seen the park be at capacity where they're like, there are too many people in here. It is now illegal if we let you in.
When did you get this email?
Earlier this week, I think.
Oh my God.
Maybe over the weekend.
Oh, jeez.
You want me to forward it to you? I'll start forwarding you my
I
mail that
get
from
the
Disney.
I get the new sign-in emails from them, like a new sign-in to your account.
From Disney?
Oh yeah, I get
How
those
many
all the
people are
time.
signing into your account?
No
for
one,
new-
it's
for
me.
new
It's just every
place?
time they log me out and make me log in again, I get these emails saying no login to your account. I mean, how far back do I need to go?
I don't know. But I'm sure everybody wants to listen to you look for it.
I have nothing. I have nothing. It's not right, Marcus. It's not right. I have been. Oh, there's my new sign-in. Look, I have been. I lost you. Where are you? Okay. I have been a pass holder for so long. I've done all the things. I spent so much money, willingly, gladly.
You got that orange bird magnet.
What
do you want?
No, I didn't even get that.
You
Michelle
haven't
and
gotten
Henry
that?
got it.
You
I
didn't
didn't.
get that?
No, that's what I'm
I got
saying.
I
It's
got
like
an
I
extra
don't
one if you want it.
exist.
They always send us 2 for some reason. I mean, I know we got 2 passes, but I mean, I'm not sticking them on the cars, so somebody will swipe them.
I don't get it. I think it's like, why do you hate? I feel like the when you're desperately in love with somebody, but it's unrequited. Like you're like, no.
Yeah, to this day, Alyssa Milano just does not know who I am.
Yes. So this is what I'm saying. Like, Disney is my Alyssa Milano to you. Like that's.
I hear you.
It's just painful. It's just painful. It's so painful. And the thing is, I would go to guest services and try to fix it, but they're not going to be able to fix it.
Yeah, that would require some serious change of policy.
No, but I mean, like they're gonna have to actually figure out from an IT standpoint what's wrong with the account. Like, why isn't the account linked to whatever database?
I would imagine
this
at
other
some
account's
point somebody accidentally said, "Don't send me emails." Somebody unchecked that box or clicked unsubscribe or something.
No.
You're that sure that didn't happen?
Positive.
Okay.
Because I did get the emails when I was a Premier Passport holder.
Oh, right. Well, they did kind of slap you in the face pretty hard with that whole
They
deal.
did.
Maybe they're a little worried about.
But
You're like, you know what?
then-
We're unsubscribing you from emails too.
that ended, and I got the new
And you're ugly.
annual pass, and then everything stopped.
Hey, is that the I don't mean to stir the pot, but I got another email today that was talking about the Disneyland Magic Key. Is that their AP or is that thing that you had? I've never heard of the Magic
it's
Key.
their it's
That's
their
what they
AP
call their
thing.
AP. Okay.
Yeah, I think. You probably also got an invite to Club 33 or something, right? I mean, I'm sure.
Well, it came with my Orange Bird pass holder magnets.
Oh my God, you're killing me. Yeah, they call it Magic Key Pass.
Yeah.
I don't even. I have no.
We're in
I have
an
no
abusive
words.
relationship.
I have no words. I mean, because the last time when I went to Walt Disney World guest relations at Disney Springs to solve the whole fiasco about the trying to link my Premier, my link, I had upgraded to the Premier Passport and trying to link my Disney World, my Disney Experience account with the Disneyland thing, getting that to happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It took hours and literally 2 IT departments on either side of the country to figure it out.
And that has
and
to
make
have
it
been
happen.
just because of a problem with your stuff. Because there's no way they don't have that figured out.
They're not linked.
Surely.
They're not.
Well, I know that
they're
the
not
apps aren't linked,
and I
which
think
I
the problem
don't
is
understand
too few
why.
people. There's too few people who do well because they're very different programs. I mean, the reason one's now
Why are
look
they
at it
different?
now. One's a Magic Key program and one's an annual pass program, and they're different.
They're just databases.
Dude, I used to complain about this to Michelle when she worked for ADP. And ADP, what they would do, they go out and they'd acquire. Because I was complaining from as a business from the business standpoint, right? And she would try to defend it from an employee standpoint. I was like, you're ridiculous. You're wrong. But like what would happen is when you couldn't get two systems to talk to each other. You couldn't get, and it was well understood and accepted at ADP. This is still the case. Decades later, it's still the case. Like you'll have entire systems, like the payroll system, cannot interface completely and properly with the time and attendance system. And do you know why? Because, I'll tell you why. Because this system over here was acquired after this was created. And they've never actually written like a new program to actually integrate all the things. And you have these other pieces that are add-ons and they keep adding things on, but they're never like a core component of this one system, except for this one system, which is what like small business owners tend to use, and that everything's encapsulated there and works perfectly because it literally is one system. But once you actually outgrow that and need a more robust system, now you end up in the world of Oz where nothing works and talks to anything.
And the thing is, and I've got a master's in information systems, so let me throw my resume out there and let you know that all of that is a bunch of garbage.
Because it's because they haven't taken the time to map the tables.
They won't.
You got to map the tables.
It's that they don't want to pay to make that happen. You can make it happen. You can do it. But
But and
that's the thing with Disney. There's absolutely no reason that Disneyland cannot talk to that my Disney experience has to be strictly a Disney World thing. It can be a Disney Parks thing. They just won't make it a Disney Parks thing. Can they? Abso-damn-lutely they can. Will they? No, the damn-lutely they won't. And it's unfortunate, but especially when you got stuff like that.
I love it when you get worked up.
When you've got a pass that's supposed to work at Disney World and Disneyland, why in God's name would
you have to involve the IT department to force it to happen?
Two separate systems for two different parks when you have an established thing that you created on purpose that does both at the same time. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely moronic.
Yep.
But
you're right.
I digress.
But when I tell you, I got a little glimpse behind the curtain when I was forced to change my password this week.
Oh, yeah?
I was forced to change my password.
Yeah, why?
For the Disney, I don't know. I just got I tried to log. I had to log in, of course, again because they always log me out. I had to log in, and it was telling me I had to. I almost said like something's wrong with your account, but when you read the fine print, it basically was saying like your password may have been compromised, like caught up in some compromise.
Kind of a security alert or something.
Right. So okay. So I'm having to redo my password. Fine, no problem. But when I did it, I saw like a page. Sometimes you see like a line that normally would be hidden or something.
Yeah, some bit of code.
I saw these 4 or 5 usernames. Like basically, it was like aliases. Here's my username, right, that I'm using currently. It's just my Gmail account. Yeah. And then there's all these other usernames that had previously been linked, including like Alex's old account and stuff. And so and because it's the Disney Go account, it's the Disney Plus account, it's the Disney Store account. They also used to be separate things. D23 account, right? These all used to be separate things. Yeah. Separate logins, separate passwords. And then they merged it all together, made you have one consolidated password for all of them, right? Mm-hmm. But the fact that those usernames are still linked out there, you know what that means? There's still disparate systems. Like they're still mapping. Oh. They're mapping back to like my username is actually still being used for those other systems. Like the old usernames, it's just that old username is linked to this one.
Right, it's all like pointers
key.
And stuff instead of making a single
system.
Yeah,
they've just piled it on, Marcus. They've just piled it on. Yeah.
And it's becoming this bizarre rat king of a freaking database system.
We have to talk about that at some point. The Rat King.
Like a real one?
We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that today, I don't think. No. I don't know how much time do we have left. We're
at about an hour right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll have to pin that. I'm going to pin it. I'm sending you a pin. God, I'm so sorry if anyone is still listening.
Disney World
God,
is still
this
a
is-
fantastic place to visit. Do come
This is-
and take part.
Just terribly depressing, this episode. Sorry about that.
Right.
Well,
So
I mean, eat more fiber.
true.
I'm having my blood drawn tomorrow. I'm going to a different place.
Yeah, you didn't like the other place?
I can't chance running into that woman again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. Oh, no way. Not going to do
What
it.
episode that was.
So I'm doing that in the morning. I got to remember not to eat.
Oh yeah. Like when do you have
Yeah.
to stop for that? Is it 12
Stop eating?
hours? Yeah.
I like to think it's like 3 hours, but I think it's more like 8 at least, probably
Yeah.
12. I know. Hopefully it's
I'm
not
gonna say
12, so that
you
means I'm done.
You probably are done eating right now.
Oh, Jesus, Marcus, why are we even talking?
I don't know. You didn't tell me you had friggin' whatever it is that you got to get your blood taken out of your body. No, it's
How
probably like
long?
you thought we were done with the Googling.
We're never done with the Googling, Marcus. Never. Ever.
Welcome to another episode of Jason Reads the Internet.
But mostly just
Today
the
we
the
start
good
with
parts.
Jay.
Javelin.
So
according-
spear used in
according
Olympic
to-
sports.
According to Quest, which is where I'm going, they say you may be instructed to fast for up to 8 hours before your appointment. Mm-hmm. Healthline
when's
says
your
8
appointment?
hours. WebMD says 8 hours beforehand.
And when is your appointment? Is it like first thing in the morning,
Medline
or
says
what?
8 to 12 hours. It's at 8:30.
Oh, okay. I think if you just,
Yeah, I
Stop
feel
around
like 10.
10 or
I think 10.
something, yeah.
I think 10 hours. I'm not even hungry. That's the thing. It's just the fact that you like.
oh, that's
when
such a bad
when
thing.
you know
isn't
like
it?
you can't eat. You're like
Suddenly you're like, no, I want to eat all the things.
I had an MRI for my back a week or so ago, and they use the open air MRI things now. So
Oh, it's just like the donut kind of moves on you.
no, you slide through it still, but it's not like you're not going into a box anymore, which is how it was old school, right? But
Give you those weird glasses
But,
that make you
but
look down your body.
no, I didn't have that. But I
Have
had
you not seen those? Those
No,
are so
that's
weird.
weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's like they give you
Never
these
saw that.
glasses that
Like
have
periscopes?
angled mirrors on them that make you look down like towards your feet so that you will be seeing out instead of seeing the
Oh,
thing
that's
like right in
interesting.
front of your face. And I, psychologically I get it, but what a weird
It's like a reverse periscope, right? Like
yeah, basically instead of looking up, you're looking down.
So I mean, so well, they give you the little. I mean, they put you on the thing, and then they give you the little emergency. Oh, I have to take all the metal off, right? No metal, except I'm wearing my mask, and I had the and I'm like,
Oh, the
there's
little
metal in the
rod,
mask, and I said like, do I have to worry about this? And because there's metal in this, and she said no, because we're not. That's not part of the study. That's not the area we're studying. I'm like, well.
It's magnetic resonance imaging, right? I mean, if it's not
My
ferrous
wrist
metal,
is in an
sure,
area
it's
that you
fine.
were. Anyway, it was fine, but then they give you the little they give you a little thing, little suck. The only way I can describe it, it's like the little thing. If you've ever sucked boogers out of a baby's nose.
God, I'm glad that you went with baby's nose after that. You know how like when you're in a car accident and it seems like time completely slows down? When I heard you talking, I was like, you ever sucked boogers? I was like, oh God, where are we going? You're like out of a baby's nose. I was like,
Which,
oh, please
incidentally,
talk
like-
about the little bulb thing. Please talk about that.
if you haven't sucked boogers out of a baby's nose with the
Boy,
little
you
bulb
haven't
thing,
lived.
You really haven't. Like it is. It is oddly satisfying. Like when you've got a baby who's like he's got the snot thing going, and you can get that. You're like, you get it
You're
with
like
that little bulb
forcing
thing.
them
Like,
to blow their nose almost.
yeah, but it's like I don't
You're
know
pulling
why
it
it's
like
so
out of their
satis-
sinuses.
Well, right. Sometimes you get that piece that you can like drag out, like it's like, and you're like, this is great. It's like
You thought the
living
Disney rant
vicariously.
lost us, listeners.
People know what I'm talking about. Yes, a whole bunch of childless people are grossed out right now. But if you have kids, if you've ever or if you
Yeah,
babysat, in it, you know it is this satisfying thing. I can't explain it.
I've been around
It's
enough
like-
people who have babies that I know what you're talking about.
So
Even though I myself have not.
so it's a thing. Anyway, they give you
It
this
is
thing that
indeed a
looks
thing,
that
yeah.
feels like that in your hand. You're like, oh, well, this is satisfying.
Squeeze bulb. You
But it's
couldn't
like,
go
it's
with like remote shutter release on a camera. You had to go
use one of
sucking
those.
boogers out of a baby.
yeah. It's the emergency button, right? It's like
Yeah.
But then I'm
But then
thinking
they got to
like,
start over, right? If you do that.
well, I guess I'm like, what happens? Like, and then I'm thinking like, okay, do I need to test it? Like, should I test it? Shouldn't I test it first just to make sure like it's working? Like,
That's Jason. I think I should test this finely tuned medical equipment to see if it's up to my own standards. Of
wait, how do you
operation.
know? Like, how many people? What is like? How many people use this? Like, when's the last time somebody squeezes to? Because if it's been a long time, it may not work. It could be people are in here squeezing away, and you're not doing anything.
You're encased in like a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment.
But you know
you
what
never
you know,
know,
about
man.
multi-million. What you know about multi-million-dollar equipment is that it's usually like the foot pedal or the squeezy bulb thing that goes out. Like that's the thing, and it's going to cost $5,000 to replace it. Anyway,
Yeah, there's certainly that. But you know, if you do squeeze the thing and it doesn't work, you can just go like, "Hey, the squeezy thing doesn't work."
kick my
They'll
feet
hear you.
like, hey.
Sorry to bother
So-
you, but squeezy not working.
They give it to you. So that instantly what happens is that I was relaxed, but now you hand me this emergency thing and it makes me think, why am I ever going to need an emergency bulb thing? Like, why are you giving me this?
Yeah, I can see that being
You're like, well,
a
why?
little anxiety-inducing.
It's like when you get on the airplane and they talk about like if the cabin depressurizes and oxygen bags will drop. You're like, wait, what?
That's a thing that can happen?
Like how likely is this gonna? Right. In the unlikely, that's why they introduced in the unlikely event of like, okay, I feel a little bit better, but are we sure they still work?
Yeah. How long have they been
And
up
then
there?
they tell you the thing like, oh, even if your bag doesn't inflate, it still will be like oxygen will be passing through. I think, and then there's part of me that says, that's what they tell you so that you don't panic right before you pass out.
Right.
Like
I
they-
figure every single sentence of that briefing has a story behind it.
A lawsuit or something, right? So they put me on this thing, and they're gonna like put in the. Now I'm going back into the tube, and I know I've seen the machine. I know it's not closed on the other side, but you go in, and there's that moment where you're in the thing, and you're like, okay. Yeah, like she told me to remain still. They say like remains. Oh, this is the first time I've ever gotten headphones. I got headphones, and it played like this. It played like this relaxing music, which was kind of nice. But it was kind of it wasn't faint, but it wasn't. Anyway, you could like hear it, but not. It could have been louder. Okay, because the machine's like. It sounds like one of those rides. At the boardwalk that little kids get on, have the like little motorcycles and the trucks, and they go over the curves, and they're hitting the little buttons like beep, 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 like that's what it sounds like the whole time, right? And you're hearing that still. You're like, this could be louder. These could be better headphones, right? Anyway, I kid you not. In the middle of the calming music, there's a commercial.
No way.
There's a commercial.
So it's like a free Spotify account or something?
I couldn't even remember. It must be.
The
I don't remember
hospital
what it was.
doesn't pay for their Spotify.
It was like this chintzy. Like, are you kidding me? I could have could I lightning pass this thing or something? Like, seriously. But before that, how happens that you're going back on the gantry thing. You're just sliding you back, and I'm looking up at the white thing. I did this little. I tilted my head back enough so that I could ensure that I could see the other side, like out the other side. So like even though it looked as if I was in a cocoon,
Right.
when I
You're
rocked my
actually
head
just in
back,
a
I could
tube.
see, there's space behind me. I don't know why that was reassuring. I don't know why, knowing that my scalp had like airflow or something. Like I don't know why that mattered to me, but like that mattered.
Well, you now have
Otherwise,
two methods of escape. You can
I
go
guess
that
that's
way
what
or
it
you can
is.
go that way.
It's weird, right? Like I don't know. There's something about that. And then you're laying there for 15 minutes with your arms really still, and I don't know about you, but if somebody tells me to sit still, I move.
Because you become hyper aware of where your body is and what it's
the
doing.
worst is dental X-rays is the worst. When I'm sitting there, and they say, they like, hey, like hold like your head. You're in that contraption, and you're biting on the thing that is like.
Oh, I hate that.
Just like jabbing your mouth.
Yes.
Like, you're going to get
thing, and then it goes off in your...
They just place that in there, and you're like, no, it's wedged between my gum and my teeth.
Can you put like it's like some piping or something around there that's not like a friggin' knife?
It's like biting on sharp, jagged metal, right? It's like, yeah. Anyway, you're in there, and they'll say, okay, now like, hold still. As soon as they say hold still, I'm like, like I cannot hold still. Same with regular X-rays. They're like, okay, take a deep breath, hold still. Like, couldn't you just take it? Don't tell me, just take it. Right?
Yeah.
The other time this happens, and this may be the weirdest time, and then I'll stop, is that when I'm at the barber, and they're doing the little like. Like the little buzzers, right? And they'll say, okay, like hold still. They'll tell me you like hold still. My whole head starts shaking. It's like I'm at the dentist. Yeah, I can't. There's something wrong.
I tell you, the buzzer at the barber, when especially when they're hitting the back of your neck or whatever. That feels so good to me. I don't know. It's like
sometimes you get a barber that does the straight razor.
Yeah, my barber now.
They put the hot lather on there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best, man.
So good. And then you.
Do they trim your eyebrows too? She ever do that?
She can, but I
does she
haven't
offer?
had her do it.
Did she say, "Would you like me to trim your eyebrows?" And you say, "No, I'd rather not. We're not that close." What do you say?
No, if she offered, I would assume it's because she has seen a problem. And
you think she's judging you?
Well, I think that she is being a good barber and going, I see a need. Would you like me to address this?
So she's never
need?
Offered to you, is what you're saying?
No, right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Now,
so how do you know she'll do it?
I don't. Honestly, I don't.
Because that's a problem, right? Because now you're left. Have you ever trimmed your own? Have you ever done that?
God,
like
no.
trimming?
Whenever one gets sort of unruly, I will, tweezer it.
What? No, but then you got to start all over. Like, what are you doing? Like.
Well, I don't work on them individually. I think they all just kind of grow.
No, okay.
But
at some point,
my stylist, when I was in, I'm kind of like you. I don't know what to call them. But when I was in Scottsdale, she did the waxing thing, and that actually was that actually made a difference. I was like, because it's just got to be like around the edges and stuff, and it didn't make anything like super straight or anything. It was just kind of weeding the lawn, as it were, and it did actually make a difference and look better. It didn't look weird. It didn't look like overly sculpted or anything like that. It just looked cleaner.
Like came up and was like.
Well, it was a bit longer than that, but yeah, basically.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's an interesting thing.
I don't think I like that.
Well,
I want hot wax near my eyes.
But it's a thing that they do.
I know people do. No, I get it.
They don't like pour it into your eye or anything.
I mean, I guess you're laying down. You're laying back when that happens.
And you're leaning back, and the wax is like not liquid. It's like, I don't know, it looks kind of like toothpaste consistency or something like that. So it's not gonna like run anywhere that it's not supposed to go or anything.
Okay.
So no, it's safe.
Wow.
It's not like they have the candle and they're like drip, drip.
Well, that's what I'm imagining. It was like,
No, it's not a
Something very
80s
inappropriate now. When they bring out the syringe, that's when you really have to work. They get the little ball, the little booger extractor in their hand. Then you know you're in trouble.
When you panic,
Or
you go
not.
like this. And
Maybe-
then when the stylist comes out and they're dressed in all black leather, and you're like, squeeze.
Why don't they sell those for adults? Why don't they have adult-sized extractors like that? I don't know why I keep doing this. I don't know.
You know why you keep doing that.
It's like satisfying. This is a sign of satisfaction right here.